that is mobilized less than any other ethnic racial segment of our electorate. That is, where candidates spend money. Actually, don't get me wrong, Univision wants your money and will love for you to send them money, right? Don't get me wrong, there is Hispanic outreach and there's ads on radio and there's all that sort of stuff, right? But what actually works is that personal contact. And Latinos tend to be contacted less. Why? Because they're low propensity voters. Why are they low propensity voters? Because they're not contacted very much. Why aren't they contacted very much? Because they're low propensity voters. You see the cycle? You see one of the issues, one of the challenges, right? One of the challenges that exists where we can make a difference, I think. So when I say, Houston, I think it requires people of goodwill coming together and having higher expectations of themselves. And saying, okay, maybe we're not going to get candidate of background X, but maybe we're going to get candidate who's concerned about X. And that's a step toward that sense of further empowerment necessary in our communities that are already seeing these sorts of changed demographics. Bob had a question, comment?
You said something before that I thought was kind of interesting. Millennials, we know...
I thought you would say it's all interesting, Bob.
Actually, I'm going to quote your son. I'm much more interested in these days than you. But more serious.
Thank you, Bob.
Ricardo's paper shows that Latino voters are frequently not contacted by either party.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting question as to why. Yeah. And Pew tells us that among all millennials, Latinos are the only group where a majority don't identify with either party.
Yeah.
So it seems logical to ask,
Yeah.
if you're not identified with a party and
Yeah.
the parties are going to mobilize you,
Yeah.
then they're not going to call on you because there's an equal chance that your independence could lead you to flip.
Yeah. Yeah.
2/3 of that 92%, if I'm not mistaken from Pew, are born to parents who were not born in the United States.
It's closer to 60, but yeah, it's close. It's in that range.
They don't have the socialization
Yeah.
experience
Yeah.
that native-born
Yeah.
parents would have given.
Yeah.
So what I'm questioning is this: what in that notion of civic education, where's the role of party? As you answered, the school teacher was, we don't have the chance of going to a multi-party system for structural reasons. Is it the case that we need to strengthen our political parties so that they will identify and contact these kinds of voters? We're quite another paradox, which is the parties are what drive the turnout. The parties have an incentive to win elections, not to turn out voters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's my question.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't think we have to rely just on parties. I think we have to provide incentives, perhaps, for parties. I don't see what incentives parties have to engage in this unless folks are registered. I don't see, when we've had tremendous expansions in our electorate, right? When we've had rather major shifts in party activity and party support is when we've had expansions in our electorate. Look at that historically, right? And we know that, right? So you have to give them the potential voter to be able to engage. For Latinos, I think there's a clear message, especially for those who are born to immigrant parents, a clear message that can be given to them to get them to civically engage. And we've seen that already in some communities where it's been targeted. Very simple. Last question, last point. And it is, if you don't vote, your parents are going to never benefit from the sacrifices they made to come to this country. So notice the difference. The difference is you're asking the children to participate to serve the parents rather than the parents to participate to serve the children. And we know from Latino families and all of our studies of Latino culture and so forth, acknowledge that family is a central motivating factor in many different types of activities. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying just Latinos, but for Latinos, the family and the idea of the family means something that cuts across oftentimes class lines, country of origin lines, whether you speak Spanish, whether you speak English, all of those sorts of things. And so might there be a way to reverse the socialization process in a very interesting way. Not that my parents told me to become a Republican and therefore I'm a Republican, but rather the children, because of the circumstance and policy vulnerability of their parents, say, I want to support those candidates who I think are likely to better serve. So I think there are ways in which we can reposition generation and generational effect. The good work that's done in this area is refers to the term parallel socialization, where children are socializing parents and parents are socializing children at the same time rather than the top-down parent-child socialization that occurs. That, I think, can be utilized, but who's going to do that? Parties don't have the incentive. Who does? Who has that incentive? Community-based organizations. Nonpartisan community-based organizations have an incentive to do it because they will have a more engaged citizenry overall. We've reached the end of our time. Thank you very much.
I just want to, on behalf of your alma mater, to thank you once more for coming back and giving us a tremendous lecture to think about this conjunction between an upcoming election and National Hispanic Heritage Month. Once more, let's express our appreciation to Dr. Luis Fraga.